Hi guys, MPs from Northern Ireland have to fly back and forth between Belfast and London on a regular basis, and due to this fact they spend a lot of money on such transportation. However, it seems only one airline provides a service into the London airport that best serves MPs' needs, that being British Airways. A Northern Ireland MP raised this issue in the House of Commons with the Transport Secretary, and our old friend Sammy Wilson weighed in on the topic, calling for more competition. However, this issue highlights yet again the problem of Northern Ireland and the cost to the British taxpayer it represents.
Sammy Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and can I thank you for allowing this question, which, as been outlined, is important to many of our constituents. And as you sit in the lounge and talk to people who've had flights delayed, you can see their frustration. Though I suspect that you're maybe wishing you'd cancelled this question, because the member for Strangford took so long and delayed landing the question itself that I saw you getting increasingly uneasy as you were listening to him. But, Mr. Speaker, the problem as I see it, and increasingly we are finding flights delayed, and it's one company in particular, BA, who have a monopoly on the flights. And I think it's a lesson, an economic lesson to be learnt as well, that monopolies are abused. And one only has to look at the price which is charged on some occasions. You could fly to Australia cheaper than you can fly to London on some occasions with British Airways. And secondly, of course, they seem to delay flights. And sometimes they give technical reasons, weather reasons or whatever. Very often it's because the planes are not full, and they simply amalgamate flights. Will the Secretary of State give a commitment to investigating with BA why is it that the Belfast route is so...
Okay. He's almost making an argument for, I don't know, to get rid of Northern Ireland MPs. Just don't have Northern Ireland MPs, or at least do the calls via Zoom. Anyway, so Sammy Wilson actually touched on an interesting point here. He talked about a monopoly. So it seems there's a monopoly between, or a monopoly being operated by British Airways on flights between Belfast and London, or a certain airport in London. Now, why would there be a monopoly? Well, probably because it isn't a profitable route. Now, Sammy Wilson is calling for more competition, but there's probably not a lot of competition or no competition because it's not a profitable route. So when there is a monopoly, there's no obligation on them from a business point of view to provide a very high level of service. They can charge what they want on flights as well. As Sammy Wilson pointed out, sometimes it's cheaper to fly to Australia than to fly to London. But that's the consequence of having a monopoly. And there's a monopoly there probably because it's not a profitable route for the airlines. It's becoming more and more difficult for airlines to operate. The fuel costs are higher, taxes are higher. Just running an airline is much more expensive today than it was some years ago. So if you want to maintain this route, you're in a sense expecting the government to, compensate the airline or something. Now, I've been doing a bit of research into this, but it doesn't seem to be the case that BA is receiving money from the state. But is this what Sammy Wilson is suggesting? Because he said competition, but obviously there's no competition because it's not a profitable route. Now, as I said, it could be cheaper just to, not have Northern Ireland MPs. Like, what do they do in the House of Commons? Is it necessary for them to be there? Maybe they should do it via Zoom or some remote feature. Maybe I understand that MPs wouldn't be too happy about that, but it would be a lot cheaper than spending huge amounts of money, thousands of pounds, hundreds of thousands of pounds in total, having all the MPs fly over from Belfast to London for sessions in the House of Commons. But once again, a lot of these things come down to the fact that Northern Ireland is on another island. It's more expensive to move people, it's more expensive to travel, and at the end of the day it's an extra cost for the taxpayer in Britain. They're picking up the tab here every time Sammy Wilson travels from Belfast to London. Is it worth it? Honestly, when there's a cost of living crisis, when the British taxpayer is saying we have to expect more cutbacks. It's an honest question. Is it worth having all of these MPs? At least, is it worth it having all these MPs travel back and forth? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.